I started with one Mac Mini and one AI assistant. Today, I have multiple Mac Minis, a team of AI agents, client mission controls, content pipelines, memory systems, cron jobs, and dashboards that are slowly turning into an operating system for my life. The problem is it grew page by page, hack by hack, experiment by experiment. So now I am rebuilding it properly, a live OS for my work, my business, my content, my agents, and eventually my personal life. And I'm filming the whole rebuild in real time. Every decision, every failure, every architectural choice. Welcome back to Vibe with AI. Quick context before we go in. I'm a non-technical founder learning to build with AI. I run Vibe with AI. I build AI products. I do client work. I manage content, finances, and a handful of projects. The first question I asked was, can one AI assistant actually help me? The current question is much bigger. Can I build a system that helps one human coordinate far more ambition than one human normally can? OpenClaw was the starting point. Mission control became the interface. Client work taught me what was actually reusable and what was messy. After my last video, a lot of you commented, I want to see how you built this. This is exactly what the series is. The first mission control was built by talking to my main agent every day and letting Nexus, my CTO agent, ship most of it. This rebuild is different. It is a planned, coded project inside Cursor with PRDs, mockups, and a phased implementation. You asked to see the work. This is the work. The bottleneck is no longer whether AI can do tasks. The bottleneck is the operating structure. The evolution was organic. I grew from one Mac Mini, one OpenClaw setup, one agent into 11 agents on the OpenClaw setup. Then I added a second Mac Mini, which runs the Hermes agents, more computing power. And lastly, I added the third Mac Mini. Started off as a client Mac Mini for client work. Now I'm using it more and more for local models. Slowly but surely, my AI agent system is growing, and that's the same story with the mission control. Also, the mission control grew page by page, sometimes as a hack, sometimes as an experiment. I needed obviously the task boards. Then the topic was memory, so we have a memory page. Then later it was important to look into content. Here I built up my approval page to post on X, LinkedIn, and Instagram. But now it's time to stop adding pages and take a step back, rethink everything what I learned, and put it into one planned project. My first mission control here that you can see was a conversation with mostly Henry, my chief of staff, and also Nexus, my CTO. And we built everything bit by conversation, hacking everything together, trying out stuff, rebuilding single pages. But now it is time to make this a real planned project. I'm going to code my mission control out in Cursor with PRDs, with mockups, with specs written, a proper planning phase, and really design my operating system of several agents across several computers to really accelerate, to help me across all my businesses, and do all of that deliberately with a concrete plan. A lot of you ask me how I got to my first mission control when I put up my first mission control video. And quite honestly, it was impossible to show the process because it was a conversation and it was page by page, and it just grew organically over 6 to 8 weeks. Now that I'm planning it from scratch, I will film the entire building process, every decision, every page, and you can follow along. So with my current mission control and operating system, I kept facing a couple of challenges that now with my fresh design and deep planning, I want to tackle in particular. One, of course, is memory, and we're going to do a deep dive on memory in my next episode. But the challenge here is, how do we decide what gets memorized? How do we design a memory system that doesn't waste tokens of agents reading countless memories and MD files? How do we design it in a way that it is cross agents? So we don't talk with one agent that knows everything and then we talk to the next agent that has no idea what happened. How can we make it a shared memory across a multi-agent structure? Those are all topics we're going to have a deeper dive on. Another big challenge is coordination and flow. How can I coordinate multiple agents and different agent systems so they all work coherently together, so they work compounds and they don't start creating noise? Also, how can work flow between one agent to the next? For example, Mr. X has an idea and strategy. William does the writing. Leonard creates the images for my social media. Then work needs to be approved along the way from myself. So how can we create a sensible flow between multiple agents and coordinate their work? Productivity is another big one. How do you make the agents be proactive and come up with creative ideas and do autonomous work without micromanaging them? At the same time, give them enough rails so they don't start implementing anything that you don't want. Happened to me several times that things were done to my mission control that we needed to revert. Here you can see I have an approval queue about proposed tasks, so I need to say yes before the agent can actually execute. But is this the most efficient way? As you can see, here are 72 proposed tasks in my backlog. Here I am becoming the bottleneck and the agents get stopped in their way of being productive. All these are things and challenges to really think about in a deliberate way, dive deep in every decision and plan an operating system out in the end that enables agents to be most productive and push, well, in this case, my business and my life forward in the most productive way. Here are 5 pillars that we're going to design my life operating system across, and we're going to go deep into each one of them. The first one being the mission control, obviously the dashboard, the control system, the cockpit, where you see all the tasks that are being done, the memories, the approval pages, and we're going to build out everything page by page. I'm going to show you the full process and the thoughts that go into that. Another one is, of course, the agent team, mainly the org chart. How do we organize different agents? What kind of tasks do we give them? We give them names and roles so they are organized like in a real company setting. And how do we manage inter-agent communication and flow and all of that? That's the agent team, the crew. Then we're going to look into the shared memory system. Vectorized, multi-tier with a decay system, curated, a sophisticated system that is the most important thing, the brain of our operation system. We're going to dive deep into that next video. I rebuilt my memory system several times and I'm going to put all my learnings and inspiration into this memory system. Then we're going to look at operating pipelines, anything that is stand-up meetings, discussing which tasks get approved, a smart filtering section and quality assurance, content pipelines for my social media platforms, and of course the software factory, building real software products and companies around that. Lastly, the distributed runtimes. We're going to build a multi-machine, multi-agent system across from cloud models, local models. Right now, you've seen I have 3 Mac Minis. In the summer, we will add 2 Mac Studios and run some powerful local models. They will be all connected to run powerful local models. And we're going to talk about more about local AI strategy, multi-machine strategies, and it's going to be all super exciting. Okay, so let's have a quick look of the dashboard that I created, my mission control, that basically grew organically over the last 2 months into what it is today. This is the baseline and taught me everything that I need to know to now build my life OS, my life operating system based on a multi agent orchestration. I have the task board where the agent manage their task. We have a project overview. Here my calendar that shows mainly all the cron jobs and all the jobs the agents are doing. As you can see, quite a long list. We have a documents page where I can see all the documents that are being created by my agents. We have the memory page, which we already talked about, the daily memory and the long-term memory. We have an image generator. We of course have our agents page that shows us all our agents and the org chart that we already looked at, as well as a virtual office representing all my agents. Then we have a software factory from an ideas feed to a software factory Kanban where we get ideas and we code out real software products. Then of course the same thing for my content generation, my YouTube video generation, to the social media approval page that we already talked about, and a scheduler where I can schedule all my content. And we have a consulting client lead pipeline, an email section, and my advisory council here as well that talk about every day and give me critical feedback on my mission and current topics that need to be discussed. That's what we're working with, and I couldn't be more excited to rebuild the entire thing with all my knowledge. So that's the big picture. I started with one Mac Mini and one AI assistant. Now I'm rebuilding the whole thing into a live OS, mission control, an agent team, shared memory, operating pipeline, and a distributed runtime. In the next video, I'm starting with the most important pillar, memory. I rebuilt my AI agent memory 4 times and each version broke for a different reason. That is where real brain of the system begins.